Hello, BUS 1444 students, document production, and or your introduction to keyboarding. So therefore, I did a video before you begin. It gives you some highlighted information to get started. And that being said, remember, you may have virtual learning sessions on whatever particular day that is stated in Blackboard. So please notate that. Please notate that. Sometimes you will actually have face-to-face, which is on Mondays only at the Savannah campus. All my other sessions will be online, so be aware of that. Here is resources and answers and questions to be successful in. So make sure you click on the link, and it gives you a list of information to help you. Savannah Technical College Career Connections, my STC Outlook account. You have support information that will help you. You will have student resources in your learning unit as well that will help you how to log on to Blackboard, Microsoft Office 365, guidelines for discussion board, purchasing and access code for GDP Online, unable to access Blackboard Alternative. This is your placement B time writing exam that you will use for GDP Online. How to construct, complete, and correct documents on GDP Online. How to save, download GDP documents online. To get started with GDP Online. Your Microsoft Word version. And information, just say you don't have your book, units 5 and 6 that covers 21 through 30 lessons that you're able to download, print, and use, how to compress or extract files that will be helpful to you as well. Okay, so let's go back and look at your student version again. And with that being said, I'm going to my learning units. Before you begin, this is your virtual learning session. These are your student resources. Make sure you take a look at them. They will be helpful to you as well. Also, this is what's happening in your learning unit 1 once you have you completed your before you begin. In your learning unit number 1, information that you have to do. Be sure to read it. Be sure to read it. Notice your due dates, 5/31 to 6/06. It needs you to register for GDP. If you have not taken the course before, you will need to register for GDP. Where is it located at? On your left hand navigation panel. Here, let's look at it. Here is GDP, and that's where you will click to go to GDP Online. So I'm going to my learning unit 1 still. You have an access code when you buy the books. The books should range between $250 and $320 if I'm not mistaken. But that being said, you have 14 days of temporary access. 14 days of temporary access. I showed you in the before you begin. If you don't actually have your book, you will still have information in your student resources where you can start your assignments for Unit 5, Lesson 21 through 25, and Unit 6. And that is 26 through 30 and so forth that you can print and download. Also, you need to take your placement exam B within GDP. Once you sign up, it's 25 gross words a minute with a 3-minute time writing, 3 errors or less to stay in the BUS 1440 class, 25 words with 3 errors or less to stay. Otherwise, that if your errors are high and so forth, we may make amends. But if it's not up to par, Then you will be in the Introduction to Keyboarding, the BUS 1100, and it will cover lessons 1 through 40, but your unit 5 through 24 will be covered in your BUS 1440 class. Units 5 through 24. So that's actual lessons 21 all the way to 120. You will have video lessons and presentations that's within the actual learning unit. Once you click on it, your discussion boards, you need to be sure to have used complete sentences, spell check, make sure you're uploading the information, and make sure you're responding to at least 2 students or more. You will have an introduction and a questionnaire in here. So when I click on the link, I'm going in there, and so however you can page through here, or you can physically click the links over here. Okay, so I page through and it tell me, hey, this is what you need to have do. Register for GDP, navigation panel, 14 days free access. You got to take your placement B. You can look at your lectures and your videos within each chapter. Make sure you spell check, introduce yourself, and so forth. Information still to be looked at. You have a video you can look at for basic keyboarding, how to improve your typing, and so forth. And that's a 2-minute little study that you can look at that as well. How to do your placement exam to stay in the BUS 1400 course. Here's the placement exams that you will be downloading. 25 words, 3 minutes, and so forth. Therefore, I'm going to come back to that. You will introduce yourself. Once you do that, you click launch, and then you start posting your information. Create a thread, and then you will say, hi, BUS 1440. I will be taking the BUS 1440 to aid in my understanding and production of documents and resumes. I enjoy reading, exercise, and completing all assignments before time. And then you can add more. Then I will press submit and go from there. Okay, so we have a few people already there. So after I finish that, I can go back to my forum, to the discussion board, and you will see that's the only thing, introducing myself, and then I'll go back to my learning unit, and from there I'll go straight back once again to whatever I need to be doing in my learning unit 2. Here's your questionnaire that you will download. That's your questionnaire that you will download as well, so we can go through that a little later. This is your GDP overview. Make sure you go and look at this video because it will be very helpful. Continue to your site. Oops, I got to go and repost that, so forgive me. Okay, this is your GDP. Here's another video that you can physically go through, and it will walk you through the instructions. I'm going to post this GDP overview for you to see that it should be a document that actually just give you written information. So let's go back and look at your questionnaire. So your questionnaire, it is here. That being said, I download it. Once you download it, you will open it up and then start answering the questions. And the questions are going to be covered like, hey, what's the course number? So my course number 279 I'm using. Here's the date. The date is May the 31st, 2022. Here's the last names. Okay, Lewis. Okay, first name. So this is what you're filling out for me. Your phone number. Okay. Area code 484. Okay, and then I'm going to put And it says best time to call, afternoon, or if you don't have a preference. Okay, then it says what's your email address, clewis@savannatech.edu. Okay, so your version of Word that I will be using is 2019 or 365 Microsoft. Okay, then do I have DSL link? I do have a DSL that is by Comcast and so forth. Put my X there. Say, hey, do you need to work on the campus, lab, your home address and so forth? Put your home address, put your state and city and zip. It says if you're currently employed, if you're employed and so forth, label that. Savannah Technical College for me. Okay, then it says, did you have any background for keyboarding and so forth? Yes, many years of typing and keyboarding. Okay. Why are you choosing to take this course? You say, hey, it's within my competencies for my curriculum. Okay, this is your course load for graduation. Okay, what's my major? You could put if it's accounting. Do you have any questions for me? And then you will make sure you save this document, and this is a document that you will upload to me and so forth. I'm saving it in my area where I can go back and physically upload the document for review and of course a grade and so forth to be in my CHL. Save it. Okay, so that's my document for my questionnaire that you need to upload and so forth. Okay, so then as I go back, and once I go back, I can go in there and look at the information for the keyboarding assessment. So I click on my keyboarding assessment, and from there I click down my placement exam. Be sure to read over your placement exam. Why? Because it's just going to be helpful for you. Remember, it is press tab and then start with the word most, and then you let it word wrap itself around, meaning you don't press enter after writing has, some, on, and so forth. And then once you get the coffee, press period, press enter, and tab once again, and then a way to reduce. And that was what you will start doing your time writing. This is your physical document that you will use to do that and so forth. So now let's go back to GDP Online. GDP, this is the link that I will click on. I have an account already. So with me having an account, it physically comes up. I click on GDP. But if you don't have an account, you just need to log in one time. It's going to ask you for your name. Make sure you use your Savannah Tech email address. Don't use your Gmails or Yahoo accounts. Make sure you use your Savannah Tech email account. It's just going to be very helpful for you. Make sure you have your username and your password that you can remember from this point forward. Because why? In case you can't get in through the normal Blackboard format, then you will use different formats in your student resources to go and look for that. Where would you go and look for that at? I will show you briefly. It will be in your student resources area, in your learning units. And here is my student resources to be successful. And this is my student resources. And if you're unable to get on Blackboard, here is this link that you will click on and to download, and then you will find the actual website that you need to go into. So as I go back to GDP Online, I can click on the link and I'm going there. And where am I going? I'm going to physically take my actual placement exam. My placement exam. Once I've signed up, everything is well, all is a go. I'm connected and so forth. And then I'm going to do my information for my placement exam. Here is the information how it looks. You got your lessons. And in your lessons, you got part 1, and that covers unit 1 all the way to unit 4, and you will have a test. Will you do this part? Not if you're in your BUS 1440. If you're in BUS 1440, you will omit this area. But if you're in your BUS 1100, you will complete all of these areas, unit 1 and 2. Unit 1 and 2, part 1 and 2. But therefore, BUS 1440, you will start with unit 5. And you will do 6, 7, 8, and then you have a test. You will do outcomes assessment 2. And then your objectives. These will be the format each time. Then you will go to your part 3, do unit 9, 10, 11, 12, and then you go to part 3, and then you'll do outcomes assessment 3 and your objective. And then you'll go to part 4, and then you will complete whatever it says, 14, 15, 16, your test 4. You will not do this. You will only have a test 4, which will be your learning unit or your lessons 86 through 90, which is unit 18. Your part 5, here is unit 17, 18, 19, 20, and you will have a test once again, outcomes assessment 5, and with your objectives, and then you will end up having your unit 21, 22, 23, 24, and then to test your outcome 6, and then of course your objectives that you will be doing. And then you have skill buildings. So look at your drills, your new keys, your warm-ups. Okay, and then it goes down as you click on each of these areas and so forth. You have maps, which is your misalignment prescription. This is your pretest, and once you do a pretest, then you will go through some measures to improve, and then you have a post test. These will be critical and helpful to you improving your speed and so forth. So that being said, you have time writings. You got 1 minute, 2 minute, 3 minute, 5 minute, and others. We will be focused on 3 minute and 5 minutes, but all of this information is still based in your lessons. They are still based in your lessons as well. These are skill buildings, maps, time writing. That still is based in your lessons. You have language arts, and that means rules, proofreading, composing, spelling, still based in your lessons as well. This is your reference manual that all of your practice documents will be in. You will need this document, this book, to do all of your practice documents. It will be 21 and so forth. So you read your information and go from there, and this is your practice document information that you will be completing. And once you do your practice document, you will save the information, regardless if it's a blank document, regardless if it don't tell you to save, regardless if it says don't save. Always save, always save, always save. And from there, you will end up doing everything in the thick blue box, and it is actually 7 steps, and you will go down until you finish each one of them and so forth. And then it goes to 22, and it's the same format as well. You will be going through that. But still, this is a highlight. And however, my GDP. Now, I've done the session so many times, so I've finished up everything. So it says, hey, Cynthia, you had 635, not just hours. I got days and weeks and months, and it counts it. And it says the total time spent. All of that information is what I've done that I can go through. And this is where you will see your student portfolio. You will actually see the dates and times and the lessons that you completed, and it will score you. it will score you. You can use filters and so forth. Here's resources that you can actually look at. Logging into the Blackboard Alternative. You got your Placement B. That's that document that I downloaded earlier. Your test 2 assessment, where it's located at in your book. Unable to log on to Blackboard. This is book resources 21 through 25 and unit 6 with 26 through 30 that you can download as well too. If we got any messages and so forth that I need to send someone or you need to send me, but you can still always email within Savannah Tech email system and so forth. This is our placement exam and so forth that we will be doing the placement exam, and we will be doing B, not A, B. We will be doing, and this is my information that you should be familiar with, because why? When you cannot log on to Blackboard, this is the information that you need to have to log on to Greg College Keyboarding and Document Processing. So let's go back and take our time writing. Let's go back and take our time writing. Here's my placement, and I'm going to go to B, and then I'm going to click Begin, and the document that I have here is the one that I'm going to use to take this assessment. And I'm going to get a 2 screen, and then this is the document I will be typing, and it's going to be 3 minutes. So once you press the first key, then it is going to record. So I'm just going to do a sample tab and most businesses. You can backspace, but it will record all of your keystrokes. And I'm not hitting enter. I am actually just typing in today's world. Researchers have shown that almost every segment, and take your time, because why, this is not a race to the finish. It's to be more accurate than speed. More accuracy is better. Your speed will be coming, and you will take this twice. You will take it twice, and then I will look at it and do an assessment of what is your potential grade. This is your placement that you're doing that will decide your course. Make sure you read through. You see how I'm having some errors, which is still fine, but make sure you just take your time, read through your document before you start typing. It's just going to give you a better format of what to expect in the document. And decision making. Forms. Okay, so I'm starting a new paragraph. And with all the errors, I was still able to start a new paragraph. So take your time, all is well. Okay, so I'm going to just end it, and let's see what I've earned from taking it. In test, So when I end test, I can go to my GDP and it's going to score me. So I have a 89%. It says I typed 36 words and it says 0 errors, but I've done it several times and so forth. So you see that lets you know your score. And that's your placement exam that you will be doing for that unit 1, your unit 1. Be well and have a safe, wonderful day.